Alright, so today I'm going to try to finish off my Roto Camera Rig because I finally tracked down my plans again, and I got a camera to use. The camera I was originally going to use that inspired me to start the project broke like the day I got it, so I didn't want to deal with it anymore. So I got this one. This is a Polaroid Cube Plus. I got a really good deal on it. I got it for 80 bucks used. Because what's happening is iOS 10 came out and broke the app that you use to manage and film with. So a whole bunch of people were selling, drove the used price down really low, and of course that's only a temporary problem. In fact, I already found a workaround to get it to work with my phone. So I just got a really cheap deal, 80 bucks. For a $150, $160 camera. Really happy about that. And that's what I'm going to be using the Roto Camera Rig for. So, let's take a look at what we got here. So first off, this is what we left off with. It's got the wooden frame that goes inside the backpack. It's a really snug fit so that it moves with your back. Right? And it's just temporarily got PVC. I'm planning on having a dowel or something, right? But for now, I've just used PVC as a model, and it fits in really tight and holds it in. I've since decided that I can have it fit a little looser than that so it's easier to get in and out, or on and off. Ow! I just pulled my fingernail back. And anyway, what I can do instead, man, this is the problem here. Is this whole deal of getting this in. Anyway, what I can do instead is I can just do a screw with washers. So just screw it in the back. So I'll leave it out for now, so I can work on it. And yeah, ow. So the idea is, if we recall, the camera has an axis kind of behind your shoulder, and it spins around, and it's sitting at an angle. 17.6 degrees is what I figured would be working the best. That means so that when it's on this end, it's high and looking kind of down at your feet more, and when it's over at this end, it's kind of more looking at your face, right? And so what happens is as you're carving back and forth, the camera is able to freely spin around and change the angle, and it just be really dynamic, is the whole idea. So, with that taken care of, let me start and figure out what I'm going to do. I'll check back in a minute. I thought this would be interesting to show. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to cut the end of this level. So what I've got is I've got my camera on here, and I got this straight edge which is attached. It's attached to this bracket, and that's more or less level. This is giving me a straight edge view in this camera here. So you've got the straight edge going across here, and what I'm trying to do is look at that and compare it to the angle I have cut. And I'm just trying to double check the angle I've got on top of this while I'm wearing it to make sure it's level, because that'll give me a starting point, because I need to know the angles of what things are at in order to get my 17.6 degrees or whatever right. So that's what I'm doing now, and the camera is actually coming in useful to figure that out, and it's close. Let's give it a few more tries and we should get there. Okay, so I've got level figured out. So now I've got to mark the line that I want the 17.6 angle to come off at. So it's going to go basically from my head to the center of this thing. So my head's going to be right around here, and so the line's going to be something like that. Round about there is the line. So I'm going to have a line running like that along the dowel. And how I'm going to do is I'm going to come up with, use this as a reference point and that as a reference point to move, to cut an angle that's 17 degrees that way of this face. So let's figure out how I can do that. Alright, so this is what I figured out. So I've got the dowel lined up so it's flat against the blade. It's being propped up on this end by a couple pieces of scrap wood, and it's got the line aligned with the axis that I can rotate the saw cut on, right? So it's right now it's at about 15 degrees. So I want to put how many degrees on it? Let me double check my plan here. I think it's 17.6. Right, so at 15, 17, that's 32.6. Right? 15, that's 32.6. Right about there. So I just move it down and that should be the angle I'm wanting. Let's see if it worked out. Okay, so it's back together. So I can use my camera in my straight line again to check. And so from this angle it should be pretty highly angled. From, let's see, so it should be level. It should still look level from about here, if my head wasn't in the way, or here. And yes, that still looks pretty level. I can actually see the line, so I can line up the line. It's a little out of level. This right side needs to come down. And I actually think that'll be all right. I think it's not quite 17. I think it's more like 12. But I think once I'm skating, my stance will be a little more forward, and that should change the angle. So if I'm doing my forward stance, and look at that line, it's about right. Okay, let me double check that again. Yeah, I think that's about where we want it. So the camera should stay right around here when I'm standing flat, right? And it's out of my line of sight, but it's still forward enough to get my face. So, and it'll actually be, I'm not sure exactly where it'll be. We'll see. Let's see how it turns out. So the next thing to do is going to be to mount a bearing on top of this, and the bearing is going to rotate around, and that's what the swing arm is going to be on. This is an old, I don't know, it was in the routing bearing bag. It's jammed up with sawdust. So I've got to clean it out. I'll mount it up, and then I'll put the bar. I'll use a bit the same size as this bearing to drill a hole in the bar. So this will attach on the inner race, the arm will attach on the outer race, and then I'll have the swing arm, and I'll put the camera on the end, and we'll just tack it on there for now. And I want to have like probably a curved bar or something to keep it out of view of the camera, but we'll just do it with a straight bar for now, just to see what the behavior is like. Let me show you what I've come up with. So let's take this apart real quick so you can see how it's assembled. So I've got the bearing just slid into this piece of wood, which is cut down to make it more close to the size of the bearing. Through the pole, I've got a threaded insert which goes into it. It's kind of oversized, so it kind of split the wood, but for now that will work. It'll glue up and hold, and I can neaten it up. For now I've just got it sticking out the bottom, but I can do something a little neater in the future. It's also got a lot extra threads on the top. It's got a stack of washers because the wood sticks down at the bottom, so the stack of washers allows me to not have interference there. And I got a big old large washer, right? And I can actually, let me just use this this wing nut for this part. Or no, I want this one actually, because I want the edges of the nut to center. So it just stacks together like that, right? So, as I've said, the oh, come on now. There we go. Perfect. So this is on the outer race, and this is on the inner race of the bearing, and it's loose. How'd that happen? There we go. So I had to do a cutout on the pole, the swing arm, because otherwise it would hit my head when it swings around, and I do not like that. And then on the end, I just got a little wedge to flatten out the camera and get it at the right angle. So, and for now it's just got carpet tape to hold it together. So, okay, so now, so I also had to lengthen this pole out a little bit as well, because cutting out in the arm wasn't enough to keep it from hitting my head. It was kind of annoying to have to duck every time it was swinging around, and a little dangerous. I'll have to do something else once I get around to putting a helmet on. It's quite dangerous to put on. It seems. Okay, here we go. So, it swings around like that. So, and I can now turn it on. Right, and let's put the camera this way. I'll be over here. So what I can do, turn on my camera and connect to it through the Wi-Fi so I can take a look and start recording. There we go. Online, connected. Okay, so it's recording now. So it's actually a little too close to my face, and it could be pointed down more. So if it was pointed back, if it was pointed down so you could see my chin, and maybe the top of it was more with my eyes, I think that'd be better. So a little farther away, a little more pointed down. It swings around to back. That's pretty good. It could still also be farther away and a little further down. I'd like to be able to see my feet and the board. So as I'm on my board. In fact, let me go grab my board. So I've made a couple changes with it. It's now about 8 inches longer. The angle is, that was a little too far down, I think. Get it right there. That's probably a good angle right there. So, let's take a look. We're going to try to ride this. I think it still is swinging too much, too fast. I'd like to mellow it down, make it so it's, I don't know, but yeah, there we go. That's the kind of stuff I want to see. Where it does a nice big sweep around like that. Yeah. It's those big long sweeps. So I don't like it swinging back and forth around here so much, because it's just too much. When it's back right in the back, and you can see what's going on. Whoa. Gotta be careful because it's just held together with tape, so it'll just fly off until I screw it all together. But yeah, that's really good. I like that. There we go. Oh! It just fell down. It fell off. Anyway, I think that is a really good, oh yeah, you can see it circling around my head now. Whee! Come on. Swing, swing. About to take off. So there we go. I think that demonstrates the proof of concept really well. So, Longboard technology, over and out. A few last thoughts while I'm in the shop still. So one of the things I wanted, which I was hoping for, was that by offsetting it and putting this pivot point behind my head, I could have this arm short enough to where you could do hands down slides, right? Oops. Hands down slides. But that's not going to work at all because the camera is way down there. It's actually below my hands. And yeah, it could do it if it was the original length, just barely. So I might have to consider if there's a way I can make that work. Because yeah, doing hands down is definitely something to be cool to be able to have this still being able to work with. The other thing is, the point is not to film the writer. The point is to film the writing. So I want to not have the face nearly as much. Like I said, those big shots in the back, those are the really cool ones, I think. You can see the whole body, you'll be able to see the board. Yeah, those are the really sweet ones. But because that's the position where the camera is actually at the top of its spin, right? Oops. That's where it's at the top. So that is where it's going to be spending the least amount of time. It's going to swing past that and maybe slow down at the top, right? But that's kind of where it's going to be spending less of its time. It's going to spend more of its time, like I say, out here and swinging from there to there. So I don't know if there's some way I can change it so that I'm able to get the camera closer without having to. So if there's some way I can get the camera closer so I can do hands down and also not have it too close to my face so my face isn't capturing the whole image, then that might be something. It's definitely an interesting balance of things I want that seem to be kind of incompatible with each other. But we shall see. So that's my final thoughts. I've screwed everything together so I can do craziness. Now I don't have to worry about what's going on. Oh yeah, one other thought is I think I might want to do a counterweight on the back because I can feel it spinning around my backpack when I do that. And I think it slowed the rotation down. I do want to have it biased. Or maybe I could even have, here's an idea. Come back. I could actually have it so it's biased. So if I have it so that there's more weight on the other side, right? Then this, whoops, come back. Can I reach? Yeah, so there's more weight on this other side, that big weight, then this could be its more standard position, you know, and then swinging it will make it swing from back and forth from that to that, right? And then occasionally it'll swing around and get the face, right? That'd be interesting. And that way, if I have the weight on that side, when I go down for a slide, it will swing up. Swing up like that, right? And I'm doing a hands down, and it's like this. And I'm not sure how that looks. Let me see my camera, my phone. How does that look? So I'm doing a hands down slide, and it's all like, okay, yeah, that's what I want. That's what I want. So what I want to do is I want to actually bias the weight the opposite direction of what it is right now. That'll fix all my problems. And hopefully I can make it so it swings less erratically, moves a little more slowly, because the weight has a little less effect on it. I can also make it so that, anyway, that's the next step. The other thing is to reduce the weight of the arm. Reduce the weight of the arm. Right now it's just a 2-inch wide thing, and I think right now it's this 2-inch wide piece of plywood, and I think I know it probably needs to be strong because it's swinging around and whatnot, but I think I can safely say that it could be much lighter duty, much lighter. Probably not something as thin as, you know, this funky thing, but it can be, I think, pretty lightweight. I might be able to do like a triangle or some sort of more angle iron type of thing. I might be able to do like an angled channel. Anyway, there's lots of things I can try, and it'll be really sweet. This thing is looking, you know, really decent in what it can do already. Really interesting stuff it can get. Really interesting footage you can grab. So yeah, all I have to do is perfect it. The post is pretty much good to go, and is pretty, I can replicate it pretty easily as I need to. Anyway, so there we go. Alright, so there we go. That is the Roto camera. I like it a lot. So, Longboard Technology, over and out.